Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Foundation Award Ceremony. We are delighted you're joining us today on Facebook. And unfortunately, this is not what we all wanted. We all wanted to be together. We all wanted to be able to give each other hugs and celebrate this together, but it's not quite what the world had in mind for us. So all I can say is we're doing the next best thing, which is celebrating virtually, knowing that this madness, this pandemic is making us all hopefully stronger, more resilient, maybe a little crazier if you're anything like me, but hopefully we at least know we're together. And I really, really appreciate everyone being joining us tonight. I'm Bonnie Michelman. I have the privilege of being this year's IAHSS Foundation President. I'm a former past president of the association, and I've been in IAHSS a lot of decades, longer than I want to say, and it's very important to me. It's my second family. We have a lot of special people to celebrate tonight and some great things to do, but I'd like to start first by telling some of you who may not be as familiar with the foundation what it's all about. So the IAHSS Foundation was founded in 1981 as the philanthropic arm of IAHSS. It was established to foster and promote the welfare of the public through education and scientific research and development of healthcare security and safety body of knowledge. And it's really been the leading force of what research and literature has come out for healthcare security and safety. The IAHSS Foundation promotes and develops educational research into the maintenance and improvement of healthcare security and safety management, as well as develops and conducts educational programs. Basically, we have three arms. The first arm is scholarships, which we use to further people's careers in this field. So we continue to get the best and the brightest who can take over our major and critical jobs in healthcare security. Our second mission is the awards, which we're celebrating tonight, to be able to show the professionalism and incredible specialness of people who have done major things in our industry. And the third, and probably the most important, is the research. And we do academic research, white papers, crime surveys. You're going to hear about that a little more in a minute. Before I go any further, I would like to introduce the incredible board that I'm so lucky to serve with. They are incredible. So as I call their name, I would like them to just wave and say hello. Ron Hawkins. Hi, Ron. Marilyn Hollier.
Hello.
Hi, Marilyn. Todd Milne. Not sure if he's joined us today. Steve Niblink, a wonderful secretary. Connie Packard, who's our board liaison, was a previous foundation president. Mark Reed.
Hello.
Mark's in that room with some other people. Tom Smith, long-term member and past president.
Hello.
Ed Stedman, very long-term member and past president. Ed was probably the longest serving foundation president, and we owe a lot of what this foundation is to him and the efforts he has shown for many, many, many years, several decades. We couldn't be where we are if it weren't for Ed Stedman. And finally, Kareem Valane, who heads our research work. You're going to hear from him in a minute. Hi, Kareem. That is our board, and we're very, very lucky to have them. It's a very, very hardworking group of people. I especially want to thank tonight also Virginia Petrin Costa. I still can't get Virginia's last name easily said. Our new executive director. She has been unbelievable. I was lucky enough to be on the selection committee with Marilyn and others to hire her. She started right as COVID-19 also started. She's done a remarkable job of moving us forward, of getting this ACE into incredible form with over 430 people signed up for it, and she's been a great supporter of the foundation. Thank you, Virginia.
Thank you.
Never could we do this work without Nancy Felicina, who everybody knows. I don't even need to introduce, but she's our long-term supporter. And Nancy, we love, love, love you. And finally, our technical people tonight, we're so grateful for Matt Zach. Please say hi, Matt, or wave, and Kristen George, who have really made this happen. So we are on Facebook, as you know, and there will be an ongoing video. This will be up on Facebook for others who may want to see this in the future. So I want to thank you for that. I want to quickly ask Marilyn Hollier, who had the wonderful idea about expanding our scholarship program this year to include scholarships for people who want to take the CHPA but may not have the funds to do so. Marilyn?
Yes, thanks, Bonnie. I'm just excited to announce this opportunity. We're going to be starting September 1st through December 1st. We're going to be accepting applications for $500 scholarships to help you pay for your CHPA application and to take the test. It'll work similar to a tuition reimbursement program. You apply, the application is very simple, I believe. If you pass the test, then you will get reimbursed $500. So I hope that a lot of our members will take advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. I would like to turn it over at this point to Kareem Valane, who has been for the past many years, I think it's 15, chaired our research subcommittee. He has done the entire crime survey and analyzed it. He has created the work for our white papers, for our major research, academic research projects. And the amount of work this man has done has just been unimaginable. So Kareem, could you just describe a little bit about the highlights of our research work right now?
Sure, happy to, and thank you for that nice introduction. So the foundation benefits greatly from everybody that donates. That includes the chapters, the association, and then of course individuals for all of the research that we're able to conduct. That research has yielded many benefits, particularly a series of evidence-based papers regarding security effectiveness in different areas, including visitor management and use of force. And more importantly, and probably most importantly, it has yielded a lot of research regarding workplace violence prevention, which continues to be a pervasive problem that we see in healthcare. And then finally, just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone that has contributed to all of our success. It certainly has not been me alone. We are lucky enough to have Ron Hawkins on the call, who is kind of been my right-hand man throughout this. And we have a lot of writers and a lot of supporters who have contributed to everything that we have done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kareem. And Ron will be taking over for Kareem, because we're going to give him a well-deserved break after this year, even though we don't want to, but Ron has done incredible work with this, so thank you both. I'd like to turn it over now to Mark Reed from Martin Luther King Hospital. Mark has headed up our fundraising efforts. We are in much better shape in terms of the foundation finances than we were, but we're always needing money. We don't have that much. We need it for scholarships. We need it for research. We need it for white papers. We need it for awards. So Mark's going to talk a little about this, and for some chapters who have been very generous. Thank you.
Bonnie, thank you so much. And it truly is those generous donations that provide us the mission to be able to complete with the scholarships, the research, and able to give back to the healthcare security and safety community. We have plenty of private donors, and we appreciate them, as well as the various chapters throughout the country, as well as our international partners. And I would just like to say thank you to the Boston chapter, the New Jersey chapter, the Indiana chapter, the Maryland chapter, our Ontario chapter, the Central Florida West chapter, the British Columbia chapter, as well as the Los Angeles Orange County chapter, for their very generous donations this year in spite of everything going on. Really made it possible for us to continue our mission and provide this valuable research, as well as expand our scholarship opportunities to the community. So thank you very much.
Mark, can you describe how people could donate now, please?
Yeah, so if you go onto the IAHSS Foundation website or the IAHSS Association website, there are links on both of those pages that you're able to donate, as well as we have a donation possibility through our Facebook live feed right now. If you want to click on that, again, your generous donations go to support all these fundamental opportunities to improve healthcare security and safety.
Thank you, Mark, so much. And thank you for your efforts. They've been wonderful. We really, really need donations. I want to thank all the members of the foundation board who have donated. I want to thank SRMC, a consulting group, Linda Buell, who donated. I want to thank Moab, who donated, and a couple of anonymous donors. We really, really could use your help. Even a small amount makes a big difference in being able to move this research forward, move some things that improve and help the industry in general. Okay, we're going to get to the main event now, and we're going to present the awards. And we always start with the President's Award, who the immediate past president has the privilege of getting to make. It's always a hard decision for those of us who've been president. We know that it's an esteemed award, and I'd like to turn it over to our immediate past president, Alan Butler, who's been a wonderful member of this board for many years, for his presentation.
Thanks, Bonnie. You know, before I jump into this year's recipient of the Elwood G. Neer President's Award, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the one person who's inspired me throughout my career, the type of person and relationship I wish everyone could have in their life. I'd like to say thank you to my best friend, my wife, Lisa, for her selfless support throughout my career. Without her, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Now, on to this year's award. Tony York is a constant professional influence in the healthcare security industry and has been so as long as I can remember. He's been and remains a mentor in the healthcare security leaders now in influential positions all over this country, from co-authoring the Bible of healthcare security professionals to his involvement in IAHSS. He's the consummate healthcare security professional. On a personal level, Tony pointed me towards the commitment that is volunteer leadership inside our industry through IAHSS. It's always been important to Tony and those who worked with him to give back to our profession. Consistent with that goal, I've spent the last 5 years on the IAHSS board and found it to be one of the most rewarding parts of my professional career. I would recommend it to everyone. Thank you, Tony, for everything that you've given to me personally and that you continue to give to our profession. Healthcare security and IAHSS are both better because of your commitment to our profession. Here's a toast to my friend, colleague, mentor, Tony York. Thank you, Bonnie.
Well, thank you. It's an editorial comment, but I don't think you could have made a better choice, Alan, and Tony has contributed so much. Congratulations, Tony. And as you'll see, Tom and Tony and a few people have tuxes on, because years ago for this event, everybody got dressed up, black tie affair. It was really nice. So congratulations, Tony. And would you like to say anything at all?
Yeah, I would, Bonnie. Thank you. And Alan, thank you so much. You know, this industry that we've all chosen to give so much to is so important to all of us. And it's fantastic to know that as a past president myself, to be recognized by you is just something I'll be eternally grateful for. And I just encourage everyone to just remember what Alan said and all the great names and all the people that are giving back so tirelessly, so selflessly to the association, because we're improving healthcare. And I think we're making these environments safer. And let's just keep up the good work. There's a lot more to do, and there's a lot more to come. And I'm excited to be a part of that and contribute in any way I can. So thank you, Alan. It means immense amounts.
Well said, Tony. Thank you. Okay, we are going to do the awards. I'm going to ask you all to not clap audibly, but to clap visually until the end, and then we can all clap for everyone audibly. Before we start, I want to profusely thank the companies that have sponsored these awards with $1,500 or more gifts to us. And those companies in no particular order are Security Industry Association, SIA, Ron Hawkins representing, VPNE Parking, Town Park, and I see Chris Berber here, and Passaic Corporation, and I see Dave Alessandrini here. Thank you very much. Longwood Security, Healthcare Security Consultants, Inc., and that's Tom Smith's company, and Alcatraz Security and Pace Security sponsored an award. So I really want us to be very grateful to those companies that have sponsored these incredible awards. Now let me begin. I'm going to start tonight with the, there's only one award that have had several winners, and that's usually the case, and it's the Medal of Merit. And this award is presented to an individual who distinguishes themselves by an act of personal fortitude above and beyond the call of duty, not taken at the risk of his or her own life. Nominations must specifically define the act of fortitude and the ensuing effect on the facility, community, region, and relationships. And there has to be good documentation around this. This award was submitted for this person by Connie Packard at Boston Medical Center, our own Connie. The sponsor of all the Medal of Merit awards are Town Park and Passaic Corporation. And the winner of the first Medal of Merit is David Depaulo. I'll tell you a little about David and we will clap for him afterward. David is an officer at Boston Medical Center and has been since 2002. He's a defensive tactics training instructor. He's a field training officer, sexual assault investigator, among numerous other things. For all of these awards, they were very voluminous, so I'm really cutting them down in the interest of time, but I'd be happy to ensure that you see these award submissions for any of you who want to. I'm going to read you what the nomination form was for David. On Monday, June 3rd, 2019, at about 6 a.m., Boston Medical Center officer David Depaulo was approached by a concerned employee that there was a male party outside the facility who was talking to himself and had a knife visible in his hand. While speaking, the concerned employee, the male party, entered the building. At the time, no knife was visible on the party. When asked about the knife, the male party stated he had one, reached into his pocket and pulled out a stainless steel bladed paring knife, placing it to his throat. The male party stated he wanted to kill himself. Officer Depaulo grabbed the male party's right hand to keep the knife from his throat, but the male party kept pulling away. Officer Depaulo gave two knee strikes to distract the male party, which caused him to drop the knife on the floor and did not hurt him. Officer Depaulo placed the male party into custody, brought him to the emergency room for a Section 12 psychiatric hold, no injuries at all, for going above and beyond during the scope of his duties by stopping a male party from self-injuring himself. Connie nominated Officer David Depaulo for the Medal of Merit. His quick, decisive actions helped save the life of that individual. David Depaulo, can we see you and can we congratulate you, please?
Thank you.
Congratulations, David. The next Medal of Merit comes at the submission of Jeff Hawk, who is the Director of Public Safety. And it is at Memorial Healthcare in Michigan, and the winner of this is Gino Mangino. And I'd like to tell you a little of why Jeff decided to nominate Gino for this esteemed award. And I'm going to paraphrase some of this because it's quite long. But basically, Jeff states that he's exceeded the challenging requirements and expectations because of his intelligence and accomplishments complement the stellar community of past recipients, making him highly deserving of this honor. At the middle of the night on July 10th, 2019, Officer Mangino was conducting exterior patrol operations at Memorial Healthcare's main campus. He observed a vehicle entering the main entrance. The vehicle continued down the front loop of the hospital toward the main entrance. He immediately proceeded to that location with the intent to make contact and inform the individual that they should proceed to the emergency department to gain access. Upon contact with the individual, the officer visually noticed something wasn't right. The individual remained seated in the driver's seat with a blank look on his face. Officer Mangino attempted to get a verbal response from him with no results. He continued to perform a rapid assessment and felt that this individual was having a medical emergency of an unknown nature. He radioed for help, requested contact for the central dispatch and for an EMS. Upon further assessment of the party, Officer Mangino observed signs of breathing and very little breathing, found no pulse, and several other situations requiring him to believe that there was no time to spare to save this man's life. He removed him from the vehicle, placed him on the ground, began to perform CPR for a while alone until he was relieved by emergency department staff. Once relieved, he continued to provide on-scene updates to the ED until he was transported in. There is no debate, according to the person who submitted this, that Officer Mangino's actions saved this individual's life and allowed him to have a full recovery. So he did several of the small things that we ask on this award. He jumped on the opportunity. He was proactive. He was committed to excellence in service. Actions, not words. I like the way this award submission was done. He was situationally aware. He was prepared. All the small things matter. So for that reason, Jeff Houck thought that this was an absolute important submission to receive the Medal of Merit. I couldn't agree more. Congratulations, Gino Mangino. Gino, can you raise your hand so everyone sees you?
Thank you.
Thank you. The next award of merit was submitted by Jason Davis, the branch manager of Paladin Security. And the winner of this award is Bradley McKenzie. And this is a shorter submission, but equally amazing event that caused Bradley to be the recipient of this award. Officer McKenzie was approached by a patient at the Royal Inland Hospital in June of 2019, requesting assistance to find her boyfriend. He was able to quickly find the male who had secured a belt around a 2x4 in a construction area adjacent to the hospital. The male was dangling in an attempt to choke himself. McKenzie immediately went to lift the subject to release the tension on the subject's neck and throat and hold him up until additional support arrived. Apparently he was not a small person either, I read in the full submission. Once additional support arrived, Officer McKenzie climbed up to the top, was able to apply enough force to break the clip that the belt was attached to. The tension on the belt was so tight it was impossible to free the individual, and McKenzie's quick thinking to break the actual support mechanism likely saved the subject's life. He had numerous letters of commendation and appreciation by the community and by the hospital for this valiant and heroic act. Congratulations, Bradley McKenzie. We're very happy for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You bet. This next and last award of merit was sent by Cy Thomas, who's on view with us. He's the branch manager at Paladin in St. John, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. We're so happy to have some Canadian winners tonight. And he has nominated 2 individuals who both have been awarded this Medal of Merit for the same incident, Leroy Anderson and Christian Reiser. And he's known them for a long time. He considers them talented, dedicated, courageous, professional, and caring officers. They have won other awards. But on this particular date, July of 2019, in the afternoon, they responded to a call for assistance at the Janeway Children's Health and Rehab Center. A young patient had fled from the hospital while undergoing a psychiatric assessment. The call alerted the officers that the patient was threatening to jump from the railing of the Janeway Hospital parking lot onto the pavement below, a fall of nearly 20 feet, which upon impact would have caused serious injury or worse. Both Officers Anderson and Reiser had been assigned since 2018 for Officer Anderson and 2015 for Officer Reiser. Their experience at the site provided them with a deep understanding of dealing with patients with behavioral and mental health issues, further supplemented by their training. I thought personally this was very important because we all know how important it is to get people in these sites and in these types of units or particular hospitals that really understand what's going on with behavioral health patients. They both felt prepared to handle this situation. When they arrived on scene, they discovered the patient had climbed onto the railing of the parking lot and was precariously perched on the edge of the 20-foot-high fall. The patient was making verbal threats to jump. Lead Officer Anderson approached the patient, used a calm and reassuring voice to urge the patient not to jump. The patient refused the help of Officer Anderson and proceeded to climb higher on the railing. At that point, Shift Lead Anderson determined the physical intervention was required in order to protect the patient. He grabbed the patient's wrist and told the patient that he would not let her jump. The patient tried to break free of his grip, at which point Officer Reiser caught the patient's other arm. By grabbing the patient's arms, the officers put themselves both at risk of falling over the side of the railing. They were able to safely help the patient down off the ledge and escorted her back to the unit. The local police, the constable, everybody was called, including the social workers, and both of these officers remained with the patient until police arrived. Due to the quick actions, the patient emerged with no injuries and no one else was harmed. By using appropriate verbal de-escalation techniques coupled with utilizing physical intervention when it was absolutely necessary, the officers achieved the best possible outcome and have received great recognition for this heroic act. I couldn't agree more. Congratulations, Leroy Anderson and Christian Reiser. I hope you're joining us tonight and can be recognized. Okay, the next award is the Medal of Valor. This goes to one person every year. It's often the award we get the most nominations for. And this award was also submitted by Connie Packard. It was sponsored by Longwood Security, Jack Connolly. And for the first time, I think ever, I could be wrong, Nancy can correct me, but I think this is the first time a person has won 2 awards in 1 year. And this award is going to David Depaulo again for the Medal of Valor. And the Medal of Valor is presented to an individual for a selfless or courageous act taken at the risk of his or her own life with full awareness of the danger involved. This has to be defined in pretty detailed form and the ensuing effect on the facility and the community, etc. And on this particular situation, September 19th, about 12:30 at night or in the morning, Officer Depaulo observed a domestic altercation between a male and female party outside of one of the food courts of the Boston Medical Center. The male party was physically stopping the female from leaving the area and abusing her. He tried to intercede to speak with both parties when the male party attacked him, knocking his radio off his uniform onto the ground. He took out his service baton and pushed the subject away from him with a middle block. The suspect initially retreated, but then grabbed a 3-foot piece of metal pipe that was in the area and lunged at Officer Depaulo with it. Officer Depaulo was able to partially block the pipe with his baton, but was still struck on the left side of his forehead. He attempted to strike the suspect, but the suspect retreated down the sidewalk. At that point, Officer Depaulo was able to grab his radio, call for assistance. He was able to flag down and passing unmarked Boston police unit for assistance. Prior to the Boston police catching up to him, the suspect was able to throw the metal pipe away. Boston police placed him in custody. He was charged with a lot of different things, as you can imagine, including assault and battery with a dangerous weapon on a police officer. for going above and beyond and trying to assist a potential domestic violence victim and staying in a fight during a serious assault on an officer. Officer David Depaulo was nominated for the Medal of Valor. His actions showcase his bravery and commitment to the duty in this duty in this situation. I couldn't agree more. David, congratulations once again on a wonderful job.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Bonnie is putting that beautiful award on David. David, is your head getting very big tonight with all these awards? It should. Okay. The next award, and we're getting down to the last few, and these are the biggies, this is the IAHSS Chapter Region of Distinction. This award was submitted by Randy Colentis, who's the chapter chair of Indiana. It was sponsored by VPNE Parking. We appreciate that again, VPNE. And this award is recognized, the IAHSS Chapter Region of Distinction is recognized for demonstrating the greatest initiative and/or innovation in promoting the healthcare security and safety profession, as well as the IAHSS. Nominations must specifically define the measurable achievements and accomplishments of this chapter or region. And the winner of this is the Indiana chapter. And I personally was very happy to see them win, because it's sometimes easy for a larger chapter to win these awards. And this is not a large chapter, and they've done incredible things. And I'm just going to highlight a few of them because it's about a 20-page submission, and we probably all want to go to dinner or get a glass of wine or something. But they average about 20 members in attendance at their quarterly meetings, even though they're a small chapter, and that's really great. They have many conferences put on with a lot of outside agencies. They recently had one in 2019 with the Indiana Intelligence Fusion Center. They had one about security during disasters and healthcare active shooter guidelines. Then with a presentation from someone who had an expertise on human trafficking in healthcare, etc. They have helped several hospitals move to become police departments. And all of the officers have attended the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. So they've done that. They've worked with that academy to ensure the right training, curriculum, and requirements. They have a lot of participation from all their members in this chapter. They hold meetings in different locations so people can before COVID, I call it BC, before COVID, they can come and attend in different parts of the state so that people don't feel left out. They've worked closely with the state legislature on statutes that affect workplace violence and assaults against healthcare workers, and to help craft laws and to ensure that they get passed that help the the whole focus of healthcare security and safety. They've been compliant with all chapter requirements. They've been represented at the ACE for the past many years. They have promoted the certification programs heavily. They have numerous people that have been involved in that. They have several CHPAs, and they have a lot of people who have worked on certifications, and they received a proclamation from the governor in 2019 for Healthcare Security and Safety Week. I think that this is an example of a chapter that is small but strong, doing lots of great things, keeping momentum, keeping engagement, and very deserving of this award for the chapter of distinction. Please join me in congratulating the Indiana chapter. Randy, raise your hand. Thank you very much. And Tom Huser is also here and from that chapter. And Tom, raise your hand as well if you would. Thank you. Oh, there's the award. Randy's holding it up. Wonderful. Thank you. The next award is a very, very prestigious award. I have always felt that this is one of our most prestigious. It's the Lindbergh Bell Program of Distinction. My department at Mass General has been lucky enough to win this award 3 times. So I am very picky and selective about who gets this award, and I'm very pleased at who got it this year. It's presented to a facility which has established, administered, and maintained an outstanding healthcare security and safety program. Again, usually there's multiple submissions for this, quite a few. Only one hospital gets this. And the hospital has to show measurable advances in the total protection program within the full 30-month period prior to the submission. And I'm very pleased to announce the winner of this year's award for the Lindbergh Bell Program of Distinction goes to the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Hospital Public Safety Department. And many of them are in the room there. Yay, you guys. This award was submitted by Mark Reed and Devon Deal. It was sponsored by Security Industry Association. Thank you, Ron Hawkins, for sponsoring this. This is a 131-bed hospital, busy emergency department in LA, 350 visits a day. It's got a very diverse patient population. They do not have a simple situation at this hospital, and they do a lot of things. I'm only going to highlight a few in the interest of time, but suffice it to say they had pages and pages of accomplishments and wonderful things they've done. They have a very robust crime prevention and communication program, as well as a workplace violence program. They've looked to decrease their numbers, to reduce patient restraints. They've developed strict procedures for potentially violent and forensic patients. They use EVADE as their training program. They've worked with Los Angeles County on a lighting survey to improve deficiencies. They've done a lot of work on infant abductions. They've done a lot of work on screening visitors. They have a great collaborative relationship with the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department and the Los Angeles County Fire Department. Those kinds of relationships are really critical to be able to be very successful. They do a ton with staff education and personnel training. They've certified all of their supervisors through the IAHSS Safety and Supervisory Certification, and they've certified 70% of their officers through the IAHSS Basic Certification. Another 10 officers preparing to go and achieve their certification. Those of you in the room who haven't gotten it yet, you better get it soon. They've certified 5 trainers in CPI. And they've trained almost 2,000 employees and contractors to achieve 100% of all hospital staff in the management of disruptive and assaultive behavior. That's very, very wonderful. They've got they've done some work with interview technique training. They've done some work with terrorism training, hazardous waste operation training, workplace violence training, and active shooter training. And it's really admirable, the certification and the support of IAHSS that this department has shown. They've gotten several awards and appreciation, and the award submission packet was fun because they had lots of pictures. Iris Martinez received the Chapter Women in Security winner for 2019. Iris, if you're in the room, wave. She's being modest. The Medal of Merit winner last year, I presented it to Miguel Zendejas. Miguel, are you there? Yeah, Miguel. The Campus Safety Magazine's Director of the Year winner went to, well, it says Mark Reed, but Jonathan is pictured. So who is that? I don't know, but Jonathan and Mark, Jonathan Westall and Mark Reed. Outstanding Security Team winner by the U.S. OSPA Award in 2019. The IHS Chapter Officer Appreciation Award winner was Erica Tollett. Eric Tollett, are you there, Eric? Okay. And the Chapter Officer Appreciation Award winner, another one in 2019, was Jack Presentine. Pardon me if I'm saying that incorrectly. This hospital has done remarkable work for a fairly small hospital in a pretty tough area with a diverse population and going through, I'm sure, a lot of changes. And I can't imagine anyone more deserving for the Lindbergh Bell Program of Distinction than the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Hospital. Please join me in congratulating them. The second to last award is an award that's also very esteemed for those of us who have been around a long time. It's the Russell L. Calling Medal for Literary Achievement. Any of you who don't know, Russell L. Calling is one of the founders of IAHSS. a past president and someone very, who made a great deal of progress for all of us in healthcare security and safety for sure. This award is presented to an individual who, through his or her literary abilities, has made a significant and lasting contribution to healthcare security and safety and/or the risk management profession. Nominations must specifically define the literary abilities and the lasting effects on the profession and disciplines of security, safety, and/or risk management. One of our beloved past presidents and a dear friend, Russ Jones, submitted this, and Alcatraz Security and Pace Security have sponsored this award. Thank you very much. And I couldn't be more proud to announce this award is going to a special man, Paul Sarnes, who happens to also be on the IAHSS board, and he is the winner for the Russell L. Collin Medal for Literary Achievement, and I'm going to tell you why. Paul is got 20 years where he's written over 24 articles. He's conducted research on the following things which have supported. Let me just first tell you that he's the Assistant Vice President for Safety, Security, and Emergency Preparedness for Virtua, one of New Jersey's largest nonprofit health systems. He's got an undergraduate degree in criminal justice, and he has a master's degree in safety engineering and a master's degree in administrative sciences. He's a frequent speaker on topics such as regulatory compliance, active shooter preparedness, safety design, identification, and management of aggressive behavior. He's a CHPA and a certified associate project manager, but he has contributed a lot to research for the foundation. And I'm just going to name a few of these: training observers for high-risk patients, best practices for preventing violence in home health, lessons learned and best practices for managing forensic patients in healthcare facilities, security system monitoring, body-worn camera use, patient sitter use, and many others. He's been interviewed by several media on his work, and Russ believes that Paul Sarnes has made significant and lasting contributions to the healthcare security, safety, and emergency management profession. I could not agree more. Please join me in congratulating Paul Sarnes, who has the wonderful distinction of receiving the Russell L. Collin Medal for Literary Achievement. Russ and Paul are there. Let's all say thank you, guys. Okay, wonderful. I'm so glad Russ could join us tonight. Our last award of the night is a very special one. It's the Distinguished Life Work Achievement and Service Award. We have not had this award for a long time because it's that hard to achieve, and there's only been a few that have achieved it. It's sponsored by Tom Smith from Healthcare Security Consultants, Inc. And the nominators of the person who won this award were three of our esteemed past presidents: Tony York, who you heard from earlier, Tom Smith, and Kevin Toohey. This award, I am thrilled to announce, is going to Donald S. McAllister, someone beloved to many of us. I'm going to tell you a little about Don and why he won this award, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long. But I am going to read a lot of it because it's worthy. And I want some of you who may be newer in the profession to understand what it takes to really influence this profession, because Don has. They talk about the influence he has. He's been revered as the patriarch of hospital security in Canada. And as someone who visited Canada several times in the 2 terms that I had as president, I can say that is true. His influence on the industry has been felt by countless healthcare facilities, especially with those he has mentored and befriended. He brings people together, serving the protection needs of Canadian healthcare and beyond, and that is still very much alive. He can be credited for helping to cement the success of the British Columbia chapter, as well as fiercely supporting the success of the IAHSS chapters in Alberta and Ontario. He was named Canada's Security Director of the Year in in 2010. Throughout his career, he's emphasized to everyone how important it is for those that are new to the industry to be active and to give back, and for those who are old as well. Bridging Borders has been a conference that he helped host between Washington State and the BC chapters. He's led 2 IAHSS annual conferences and exhibits that were fabulous in Vancouver that we all loved with great success. His kinship with American colleagues really helped emphasize the I in IAHSS. And as someone who has been around a long time, I can tell you there's no one that has done this as well and as strongly and as impactfully as Don McAllister. He served tirelessly as a board member of IAHSS for many years, and then for another 10 plus years, he was on the Guidelines Council, which is a major amount of work on that council as a stalwart contributor and lead writer. He's a driving force bringing emergency management into the guidelines. He was a key cog of one of the most influential documents in 2012, the design guidelines for healthcare facilities that's still being used and updated today. He was a lead author on several guidelines. They were recognized with the Gaffney Award chair many years ago. He continues to give back as he remains actively engaged in the significant rewrite, the most current revision of the design guidelines. So this isn't a person that just did things for a few years. He's still actively involved. He co-wrote the industry recognized must-have resource, healthcare, hospital and healthcare security 6th edition. It's a core piece of work. His involvement in writing the book that ensured that the Canadian and other international issues were identified and recognized. He was the recipient of the Russell J. Collin Literary Award in 2016, among other things. Those were just a few of the highlights that were mentioned of a distinguished career. What is harder to quantify is the mentorship that Don provided for so many industry professionals. Few have had an impact on their professions as much as Don has had on the healthcare security industry. His writings are now considered required reading for every healthcare security practitioner. He serves as an inspiration for too many to mention. And more importantly, he's considered a friend to so many of us, to anyone he's ever met. There is no one, I have never, ever heard anyone say a bad word about Don McAllister. That's not from the submission, that's from me. In short, they say he is so much to so many, and the 3 of us recommending him for this honor, he is the epitome of commitment, energy, and most importantly, the personification of the importance of giving back. His legacy is that he has brought professionalism to our industry and constructed a foundation for protection strategies that are interconnected with the higher purpose of healthcare. I also want to say before I finalize this submission that this was beautifully written by Tony and Tom and Kevin. I want to thank you 3 for doing such a lovely job. It is with great honor, pride, and admiration that the 3 of them nominate Don McAllister for the Distinguished LifeWorks Medal, as he has shown a level of selfless commitment to our industry. There's no one more deserving than Don for IAHSSF's most prestigious award. I couldn't agree more. I don't want to cry. Thank you, Don, for all you have done. Don, would you like to say a few words?
I would like to, but I had a feeling you might stir some emotion in me, Bonnie, from those kind words that you read, and thank you for that, and thank you to the foundation for this important award, and to Tom and Tony and Kevin. As you say, perhaps their writing skill positioned me well for consideration for the award. I'm very grateful for that. I have a couple of folks I want to thank as well, and it's so great seeing everybody here. And you know, as you said, Bonnie, at the outset, it sure would have been great to meet in person. And some of my best memories are with a lot of the folks I see on the call here, and exchanging information and socializing and learning from each other, and just some of my favorite times in my now lengthy career. I've been doing that. You know, the pandemic is a year like no other, and we all know that, and we can't get together. But I can tell you that I've never been more proud to be part of the healthcare community. I've never been more proud of the folks here on the call and the folks in the room, and the frontline workers in healthcare. And for me, as my career begins to wrap up, it's really an amazing way to end. Distinguished Life Works, it means so much. The esteemed group that have won previously are incredible, almost builders of the profession, if you like, including a couple of my heroes, Ed Stedman, who I saw earlier, and Russ Colling, who you mentioned. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my wife, Heather, who many of you have known and met over the years, and certainly without her support, she's been with me for every step of the journey, and you know, she's given me the freedom to pursue this passion that I love. Similarly, I wanted to thank Ashley Cooper and the executive team at Paladin, who really gave me free rein to pursue my passion and really work on quality and excellence in our industry. And it's just been a thrilling journey. So I want to thank everyone. My mom and dad always told me, you know, work hard and treat people well, and good things will come to you, and that's certainly been the case. So thank you so much again for this award. I'm wearing it proudly, the medal, and you can bet it'll be displayed prominently in my home. So thank you, everyone, and it's really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Your mom and dad were right. Everyone stay with us. We've got 5 more minutes, and I would love everyone to just stay with us. At this point in time, please raise a glass to all of these esteemed award winners. And remember that they didn't get these awards by not working hard. It takes a lot of hard work to be really successful. That's what it takes. And I want to make a toast to them, to their successes, to their continued success, and to this profession. Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Cheers.
I also want everyone on the call for a moment to take themselves off mute. And I want to give a hearty round of applause to all of these amazing award winners.
Yay!
Well done.
Okay, I have a couple of closing remarks.
Bonnie, you're on mute.
Thank you so much, Tom. I want to thank our sponsors. We couldn't have done this without you. I want to thank all of you for being with us tonight. And for those that manage or work with these award winners, I want to congratulate you, and I want to remind you, if they work for you, to always support the people that are doing the work with IAHSS or other professional associations, because it's so important. Please donate to the foundation. We really vastly, desperately need some money to continue the work that we do. It goes to incredible places to move this profession and professionalize it. So please, please donate a little bit of money, and ask your organizations to, or your vendors or other people, if you would. And certainly just call headquarters if you're not sure how to, or go on the website. This will be uploaded on Facebook as an ongoing video if you want others to see this. I want to also thank the chapters who have donated and who are going to donate. We really appreciate your sacrifice, particularly this year when it was hard because you haven't had a lot of activities. And again, I want to thank you all and say, we're not going to be BC before COVID. We're not going to be DC, I hope, during COVID. I hope that we're going to be AC after COVID, April 26th through 28th in Myrtle Beach. And we can see each other, and we can spend time together, and we can give each other hugs for all these award winners and the new ones coming up. But please stay engaged and stay active and stay strong. This isn't an easy time, as we all know. Support IAHSS, support the foundation. And thanks again to all. Have a good night.